Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and it is exciting because we have got the next Fusion champion being announced. I've pulled it up. I have not read the kit yet. I'm going to first live react to this, and then we'll see what people are saying and what the overall consensus opinion is going to be about this champion based on what we know now. So let's get into it. First, I want to give a huge shout out to Plarium's MEG Arena for sponsoring this video and giving me the opportunity to showcase it really quick for you here on the channel. And if you like what you hear about MEG Arena, you can try it out completely free of charge with the links that I have provided down below, and you will also be given a free starter pack by doing so that is worth $25, featuring a Fire Light Skin, Prodigy Crate, and a Plasma Cannon 4. And for a quick description about MEG Arena, actually the footage you're seeing on screen is me myself playing the game. And really it's a perfect blend for people who maybe love shooters and enjoy playing them but don't have the insane amounts of time to invest in these hyper long games. I'm able to play 2 or 3 matches quick in less than 10 minutes, and it's a really fun action-packed game because the maps are tight and designed for short, intense gameplay with lots of encounters. So when I was playing it, I kind of felt like it hit a nice middle ground where it's not some insane reflex first-person shooter, twitch muscle game, but it's also not slow and clunky like a lot of the mech games you see out there. And this month is going to be huge for MEG Arena because they've got a new Battle Pass season, plus a huge lineup for Oktoberfest events featuring some amazing prizes, including a new pilot board. Now, MEG Arena is also going to be adding controller support, which I know is a big deal to a lot of you, and in my opinion, it's the best way to enjoy third-person shooters like this one, and I've been having a lot of fun diving in and trying it out. So yeah, MEG Arena is getting big, and it's a good time to try it out completely free to play on both Android and iOS. Remember, like I said in the intro, you can use my promo code and the link down below to get that free starter pack worth $25 of goodies to help kickstart your game. And if you're quick, you can see on the screen there is the info from my personal profile if you want to shoot me a friend request or anything. You never know, we might see each other in game. But yeah, huge shout out to Plarium's MEG Arena, and now let's get back to the video. Alrighty, so first of all, let's look at what Plarium says about this champion, and then we'll see if we agree or disagree. So we've got on Tuesday, October 4th, so just in a few days, the time windows between these Fusion and Fragment events is getting shorter and shorter. They're burning it right around starting a new one. So October 4th, and it says Fusion. So that's very important to note because it is not going to be Fragments. We're going to be fusing like Rares into Epics and Epics into the champion. So Dark Elves. Okay, Dark Elves is probably one of the top 3 or 4 factions, so a strong faction, possibly getting stronger, and an attack damage dealer. So unfortunately, they usually don't show us the multipliers, and we'll have to see if that's going to be a make or break for this champion. And then a force affinity. So Maranix is a champion that is aimed to be a force in PvP and PvE waves content. Also, waves content. So there's going to be some sort of mechanic like seer or something. It's weird that it says waves. I've never seen them say that before. Also, her skill set can make her viable for the Hydra. Her kit is greatly influenced by a recently buffed Hex, so going to be a Hexer. With the A1, attacks one enemy 2 times. If the target is under a Hex debuff, Maranix has a 50% chance to deal 2 additional hits. The chance works separately for each additional hit, so if you're lucky enough, you can deal up to 4 hits with the same damage multiplier. With the help of the A2, Maranix attacks all enemies and places decreased defense and Hex debuffs on them. Both debuffs will be a great help when dealing with PvE waves. Is she going to be based on debuffs instead of buffs like Seer or something? Arena teams and PvE, Arena, and Hydra. Okay, to bring some additional damage. Of course, if you don't want to build this champion with accuracy, you can focus on her damage build and pair her with another Hex champion like Mithrala, Lifebane, to place Hex instead of Maranix. Using the A3, Maranix attacks all enemies again and ignores Unkillable and Shield. Ignoring Shield is big now. Shield gets more and more prevalent as raid ages. If the targets are under a Hex, this skill could be a good remedy against champs with built-in Unkillable mechanics with parry and bolster artifact sets. As a reward for killing an enemy with this skill, Maranix gets an Unkillable buff. Oh, that's pretty cool. For 1 turn, if she kills for 2 turns, it gets a kill on something under Hex. Yeah, it's got to be 2 turns probably if it's her herself putting it on and not being consistent. So, okay, cool. And then Maranix passive skill resets the cooldown of the A3 if she kills an enemy that's under a hex with any of her skills. That could really snowball. It could be like a Rotos style mechanic, just kind of snowball and take on a whole team. So in case you go through the A2, the A3 cycle and kill an enemy under hex, you'll have another AoE ready to use. Moreover, Maranix attack will be increased by 5% for each enemy under a hex. Okay, so definitely based on damage dealer, but I'm curious to see what they mean by wave clearing. I have not heard them use that terminology before. So let's pull up the champion and let's react to the kit. And oh my goodness, they are showing us the books. We've been asking for this for, I don't know, 3.5 years. They're showing us the books when they announce a champion. Oh my goodness, it's finally happening. The day has come. Children are playing outside. Everyone is frolicking and having a good time. We understand what the books do on a champion when they announce it. All they need to do now is include the multipliers. Like, they're probably going to be hesitant to do that because they want to be able to adjust multipliers up until the last, the 11th hour before they release a champion. But that would be great. Then these type of graphics would be complete. If we can see what it looks like, we can see the abilities, we can see the cooldowns, we can see the books. Now we see the multipliers, and we could way more accurately assess the announcement of a champion. But anyway, let's dive into the A1. Attack one enemy 2 times. 50% chance, we can't buff it up, so it's a 50% chance to place 2 extra hits if the target's under a hex. Chance to place an extra hit is calculated individually per hit. Again, could be good, could be a high damage dealing ability, could be similar to like Candrafon's A1 where you run in multi-hitter, do a bunch of damage and get kills. So if the multiplier is good, that's a solid A1. Then the A2 is going to be an AoE. We can book to a 3-turn cooldown. We can book up to 100% chance of placing a hex, which is important. We don't have enough AoE hexers. And then also going to be doing a defense break. So again, if that hits hard, that's a very good AoE damage dealer. Then the A3 is going to be bookable to a 4-turn cooldown, and it's going to be ignore unkillable and shield. So that could be a good opener in the arena, but they have to be under a hex. That's okay. Place an unkillable buff on this champion for 1 turn. If this attack kills an enemy without a hex, place an unkillable buff for 2 turns instead if they kill with a hex. Then we also get a passive reset the cooldown of the A3 whenever this champion kills an enemy under a hex, and increase the champions by 5% for each enemy under a hex, which is going to be like 20-25% attack buff. If we've got a good base attack and good multipliers, there's some potential here because we could really scale really well, similar to how Ninja kind of scales and buffs his own attack, and Ninja ends up being a good damage dealer because his kit makes sense and he can do a good job with everything that he cranks out. So if the same thing is true for Maranix, there could definitely be a role in the game. We do see a lot of the damage dealing come from like Trunda, Rotos, which are magic affinity. We do have Candrafon already as a force affinity damage dealer, and we also got a new one pretty recently. I almost would have preferred if this champion was spirit affinity. I think that would have filled a little bit of a better role. But again, this is going to be the problem with these. I don't understand. First of all, let me go back to my point on. I thought there was going to be some mechanic like seer or something going on when they talked about the wave clearing and stuff like that. But I don't see anything other than your normal AOE blowing up. But you do get the reset of the cooldown on the A3, which that's probably what they meant. Because of the reset cooldown, you get something similar to Queen Ava, where Queen Ava can constantly reset the cooldown of her big ability and is actually like the best beginner friendly campaign farmer. Because of that, you can just blast through the campaign with Queen Ava. So you end up with a mechanic like that here on Maranix. So yeah, all in all, I can't really grade this champion. Sometimes if it's a support champion, I don't need to know the multipliers. Like if I see Siphi, I can tell you Siphi's good without even knowing what kind of damage she deals. But on a champion like this, I have to know what kind of damage they deal, because if the multipliers are amazing, she's amazing. If the multipliers are trash, she's trash. And we have no indication of what those numbers are as of right now, because the whole value of the champion is going to be based on if she can crank out damage or not, because she's not a support champion. She's not a reviver or a speed booster or anything like that. So we've got to know the multipliers, but there is potential here to be excited once we get those. If they're good, then it's going to be a fusion worth getting hyped for, I think, and trying out. Then while we're here, just to get you caught up on a few other things going on in game, we did get confirmation officially from Plarium that this weekend will be 2x voids, and it's exactly what we thought was going to happen. You see right here on our shard predictor little sheet here for the rest of the year. Friday, September 30th, we predicted 2x voids based on their consistent and normal rotation, and that's exactly what's going to be happening. So expect 2x voids to be going on this weekend. which is worth noting because right now they've got a 10X for Tuhanarok, which is an amazing champion. But just be careful if you're YOLOing for Tuhanarok during CVC to get some points there and go after a pretty solid 10X champion, you are going to be sacrificing all of those void shards for this weekend's 2X. So you're going to have to weigh that based on where you're at on your account and your shards. Just keep that in mind that here in a few days we are getting the 2X voids, so be a little bit careful with this 10X. And we also got a brand new version of the Doom Tower kicking off, so get in there and dive in. One thing I like to remind you about when a new Doom Tower kicks off is check your progress missions, because sometimes your next progress mission goal will be like clear a certain level on normal or clear a certain level on hard. So you want to make sure you start up the proper tier. If your account is at a place where you clear either side of the Doom Tower, make sure you're starting up the correct side to get your progress missions rolling as good as possible. And since it is also a CVC going on, we are going to have about 12 days until our next CVC. So next week will be an off week in Clan vs. Clan. And then somewhere towards the middle of October is when your next CVC will launch. Now let's take a look at the shop and see if there's anything worth plugging in here. 15 of the mortal... I'm actually in the process of getting Mortal Soulstones added to the offer sheet today. I'm already working on that. I've already been started that process, so hopefully those will be on there. But the consensus I'm getting around players that I've talked to the most and what they're willing to spend is that it's about $1 a piece, that they think these are going to be the purchase price for the spenders on Raid and what they scoop them up at. So you're going to have to keep that in mind based on your spending tier and all that. But this is about probably the best you're ever going to see Mortal Soulstones for, is $1 a piece at 15 for 15. Then we've just got the lifesteal, pack string, 6 for 19. That's not bad for, usually the void shard string packs are the best for high spenders. They're usually not amazing overall, but for people that are in the market to spend money and buy string packs, these are usually the better ones of the 3 types of shards. Doom Tower, that doesn't look intriguing. But this one is a special pack. Let's make sure we plug this one in. So we've got 2 million silver. Okay, and then we've got, it looks like 15 ancient shards. Let's go there, and then we're gonna do a sacred. No voids is a little bit unfortunate. We get a 5-star chicken. Okay, and then we get 4 4-star chicken. Bang. And it looks like 12 energy refills. Okay. And we're also going to be going with 9 times 20 multi-battles is 180. Boom. And that gives us a total of 54.95. So almost a 2.0, pretty solid. I'm working on adding that to the calculator as well, to have it show like the grade. But okay, pretty solid for a spender on Raid. I would say this pack would qualify for something to at least pique your interest. It's not quite a 2.0. If this was worth 60, like if this total came out to 60, I would be saying, okay, this is a pack you really want to think about. But it's just good. Not the best you're ever going to see. It's just good based on what the packs we normally see in game are. Because the offer sheet is kind of designed to show you the average expected cost based on the in-game offers we see. So an offer like this would typically be like $49.99 if you just went with like the standard average market value prices that Plarium sets on things. So just to give you an indication of what that number kind of means and let you grade accordingly to what you want to do. I also tried to get a little bit of a sentiment of what people might be thinking about this fusion, and you know, some of the comments are kind of what I was talking about in you know, we just don't know. Plarium won't give us the multipliers on their teasers, so unfortunately a lot of people kind of agreeing with what I was saying earlier, in that we need the multipliers until we'll know. But it looks like the community is overall leaning in the positive direction, with way more votes so far anyway going towards definitely will fuse or will fuse if the events are doable. I may do a similar poll on my channel, on my community tab, once we know the multipliers. But until then, it's just going to be everybody kind of sitting on their hands waiting to hear what the multipliers are, because the champion's a damage dealer. So yeah, that's kind of where the community sits right now on this fusion, and where we're all at is we'll know at that point if the champion is going to be something to get excited about, or if the champion is just kind of meh. So anyway, that is going to do it for me on this one. And as always, remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy daily Raid Shadow Legends content. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon in the next video. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.